if we need to assist you with, if you rolled over or need help out and all that good stuff. We all know the magic word. Now we're gonna cut your car. We know that you guys time out quick. So, other than that, so again, I'd like to have each one just kind of go through your cars again, just with the safety features and all that good stuff. Dusty, do you have to leave?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so we'll start with the Sprint, and then we'll do the other two after.
Anyway, on these cars, on a Sprint, it's pretty basic. Some have a halo in them, which is a bar to cover your head. Safety-wise, on all Sprint cars, right here is the fuel shut off. If it's upside down, it's dead, so you don't have to worry about fuel. It's going to be right here on the steering column, right on the side of it. That's always your fuel shut off.
You just turn it to the left.
You just turn it to where it's like, not in line. So,
Okay.
they also have a rollover valve in the tank. A lot of times when you flip one of these, the tank does come off. And when it comes off, they blow fuel everywhere. So something, I don't know that we have it here because we don't mess with the Sprint cars much, but probably we should have. When Cody dumped one and the tank come off, the fire department down there, they have like a two-part epoxy they put over the fuel line because it ripped the fuel line off and it's dumping fuel everywhere. And it sealed up right away. So also on these, probably not what's going to run at Shady Hill, but the National stuff, you have to have tethers on the front axle. On all the steering arms, you got to have, these are torsion stops to keep the bars from falling off, or supposed to.
Torsion stops or what?
To keep the torsion bars and arms from falling off.
Gotcha.
'Cause these things, when they flip, they come apart and they throw stuff everywhere.
Are some of them bolt in or all of them bolt in?
No, some of them are bolted, but most of them are welded. So if one gets upside down bad enough, and you got to get a guy out of it, cut it off. It's not good. You just do. So generally, with the full containment seat, it's pretty rough, but most places have a narrower backboard and they'll slip it right in behind the driver and pick. They'll actually stand the car up on the end, so the driver's laying down and slide them out that way. I don't know. Seat belts, and on Sprint cars, I don't know about what you guys have. The latch, this is for the fire guys. The latch should always be on the right side, and here's why. You can reach in, you can grab it, you can unlatch it. So I assume you guys do that with the stock cars too? The latch on this side?
That's where I always put mine.
Yeah, I mean, that should be pretty standard, but especially in the stock car, you're not gonna reach across inside that thing and unlatch somebody, so I don't know. We run ratchet belts. It has a ratchet to tighten it down. That would apply to nothing that we do, but it's a quick release on these. There's just a lever. I don't remember where it is back here. You flip it and it'll just release everything. Yeah. I don't know what else you guys want to know about it.
In the sprint car world, most time when they roll over, they'll roll them back over with the driver.
Yeah,
still in it.
most of the time they're still. Well, they ask if they're okay first.
Yeah,
Hey, you all right? And
You just slowly tip it back.
yeah,
along,
yeah. You are what's left of it.
Because
You can, don't drop it. These
Right.
hurt a lot more when you fall.
Yeah.
Where's the hill with the junk trucks we had?
Well, you almost always flip them by hand.
Yeah.
You get 4 or 5 guys and you roll it back over by hand.
what, they weigh 1,200 pounds, right? Yeah, they're not that much.
Yeah, they're not heavy. They'll be a little heavier out here because these are all iron blocks that they're going to be running out here. So it's
Are they the same size?
It's the same car.
It's
It's just
motor?
okay. The motor weighs about 300 pounds more, 200 pounds more.
Did you ever put the wing on this one?
This one does not a wing car. We have a
If
wing
they
car.
have the wing on it, doesn't make anything different.
In a crash, it slows you down because it's a pillow. It takes away some of the energy. I think they do run wings out here a couple times a year, don't they?
They used to, but
One flew
So-
over, went down.
after
Yeah.
2018, he decided he wasn't
Well,
going to
so-
run wings out there.
So if you have a wing on, a lot
Just cut it off.
just cut it off. Just cut the post off and cut it off.
It's all junk anyway.
Yep. And 'cause a lot of guys run a left side door, which we have. We've had both. And this is the only hole you can get out of. And when the wing smashes down on top of you, it's covering all this. So just cut the damn thing off. I don't know. The fuel is, you know, the alcohol. We generally go out for the feature with about 22 gallons in it. So, and it'll use almost all that. It's I don't know. These are pretty antiquated cars. They're pretty basic. The only thing that's changed in these things in 50 years is the shocks, pretty much, and they're outrageous. They're $4,000 to $6,000 a set. So.
No batteries on them?
Nope, magneto. So they're direct drive, in or out of gear. Probably nobody here will be pushing one off the track, or if you have to move one, the shifter lever is always right there. It's either up or down. Down is in gear, up's out of gear. It's they make them a little different, but it's always right on the right hand side of the seat.
And if you ever have to like move one of these because there's a pile up or whatever, you always just put them in a cage with the drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Like from the cage?
Or the bumper. It just
Yeah.
depends.
Cage or bumper, but that's actually the strongest part of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these things will take a pretty good hit. They'll bounce around pretty good and not really tear anything up. But when they tear up, they tear up. So I don't know. Fluid wise, you got about 7.5 quarts of oil in your fuel, and you got power steering fluid. Other than that, there's and brake fluid, a little bit of brake fluid. Fire on these. So the fuel pump is in between your feet, and here's your fuel pump and your power steering pump. It's piggybacked together, and the drive shaft goes right between your feet. So somebody knocks a rear end out or bust a yoke, and they complain about their feet, always look down in between and make sure that nothing is sticking out of their suit. Because I've seen it where the bones have been out of the suit where you don't know. So, you know, sticking out of their legs and compound. So that's something that you know, hey, is your feet okay? Yeah. So, what's that?
When you roll these over, do you still got to get, do they make you get new belts?
No.
They don't do that anymore? No. They do that before, once you roll, you had to get new belts and arm restraints and everything else.
I don't know. They haven't since we've been around, but that don't mean they did. Like I said, they cool off pretty quick. You know, temperature-wise, the header's going to be warm. Just be aware of that. That's probably about it. You guys got any questions about them?
Driving down the road.
Huh?
I get
Wait a minute, I thought you had a pair.
No, but
Not now.
can you get back in it and get out so everybody can see like
Pull your pants up, no one wants to
the
see your
struggle, I guess.
pants up, no one wants to
The
see your
struggle, I guess.
Yeah.
boy.
He climbed that thing like a
Yeah.
I was scared of
He's still young.
He's still young.
Oh yeah, steering wheel, Papa Bell. Steering wheels come off different ways. You know, some of them
Just pull.
we just run a pull type. Now there's some of them at pin, but I don't know that pin's legal in a steering wheel. So almost all of them are gonna be that way.
Just blind pull, really.
Yeah, it's just really so. What's that? Oh, I get it.
Prove it.
I never drove this one.
Gotta take his jacket
I
off.
gotta take my jacket. You put the string wheel on too. Yeah, I got more room than Cody does.
Tighten that belt up. He's just a fat, but don't call him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I say, what are you trying to say, Cody's a fat ass?
I'm just as fat.
Man, look at that tire collapse.
Might want to put an extra 35 pounds in there, Cody. You can't run free when you're climbing on there.
Yeah, that thing's gonna roll over.
You just gotta get in before racing. Now,
Now say yeehaw.
His legs cramped up. My legs cramped, so I struggle with my legs.
you want us to drive these with the throttle?
No, you're full.
Yeah, you gotta ride a brake, get in, get road.
Yeah, once you get to set.
That is one thing. If you get one that's someone's running hard, you gotta watch the rotors. The rotors be hotter than nothing. It's pretty common. You'll see rotors.
All right, now
Yeah, you probably got much pressure for your right foot. You guys have more same. You'll have the right front.
One right in the middle.
Anybody want to sit in it and see what it's like?
Hop in.
How about it? You ain't gonna hurt nothing. Anybody can get in if you want.
Rich?
It's got a fat boy seat in it. Everybody here will fit it. Well, I thank everybody. Come on, Will.
I'll snake inside of it.
You'll fall in. You won't even be able to see over the steering wheel. Most. Some will go in the left side. A lot of people will go in the left side. Side of it.
Walk in.
Yeah, I could. I could probably stand up there.
I can do a big pain ass.
Yeah.
Right, so what's this side brake, this side clutch?
No clutch.
No
Direct
clutch.
drive.
Direct drive. Just
It's in gear or out of gear. The right side, that lever on the right,
Yep.
is in. That's in gear. That's out of gear.
That little bit, huh? That's all.
Well, it goes a little more down. See, there you go. Now, see how it goes over the center and it locks.
Big go-kart.
Yeah, a little different to go.
So do you start these the same way the badges do? Badges do,
push
just in gear. Yep. Hold the brake until you get enough speed, and then let it roll.
Need some cushion on that seat.
They're bigger than a midget.
Yeah.
Or the chode sprints as well. Did you see that come out where they?
Oh yeah.
There's a stump.
Yeah, it's
What's that?
Don't worry about showing pictures. Those things,
No drag shaft off in the back. Just like that one, the full containment seat, 5-point harness, quick disconnect steering wheel. This one does have a battery. It's just behind the seat. It's mounted down, so that's supposed to not go anywhere, hopefully. And roll cage in it.
The difference in this roll cage and a lot of these other Shady Hill 4-cylinders, a lot of them, they come out. If you look at this one, a lot of them, 80% of the other ones probably stock 4 support, which is that wall head on.
You got the full front
It's
hoop.
pop can metal up there, you know what I mean? That's my prized possession right there. And a lot of tracks will frown on you doing this. But what we try to do is make this a full frame car on top of this subframe. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Safety, you know? But I feel like if you look down in there, if he takes a hit in this car, we're not gonna shove that motor through the firewall.
Some of them cars are scary in this class to look at. I mean, it's supposed to be, budget class, but some of them are scary. You look at them, and you gotta. I mean, it's crazy for some guys to go out there, and
So this isn't required then? No. A lot of those 4-bangers Shady Hill, what they do is they'll knock the windows out, put a 6-point cage in it, and go racing.
Wow. So where's the age limit on this class?
You gotta be 13 to race.
Yeah. That's something for a 13-year-old.
And like this, if you look, it's tubed all the way through the back, 6-point plus, you know, all the way to the back. We try to take a modified chassis and set it in this thing. You know, a lot of them guys, they'll just weld this down through right here.
So more or less, you can take your whole cage from front to back right off.
Yeah.
You take the top
Yeah.
off of it.
They'll have their chain up front like they're supposed to be.
This steering wheel's a push to release too, correct?
Yep. We still run a stock fuel tank because it's in front of the tires. It's up here. If I think it was back there, we wouldn't. But
Other guys running back here.
you can run a fuel cell.
Common just to use the stock.
Well,
Depends on where it's located.
Depends on where it's located too.
most of the times we'll have a sheet metal cover on the fuel tanks, like fuel cells.
But it's a plastic, fuel cell.
Don't it, if you're running a fuel cell, don't you have to have it
Covered, yeah.
all completely? You can't just be setting it up.
Right.
Inside, get all the windows out and ran it.
No, but like last year, we had a firewall in here, which that went all the way back to here and across. Well, guess what? I wanted to keep him safe. You know what I mean? Contained. If the fire was to break out, you know what I mean? I want him contained. Well, can't be enclosed, which is kind of crazy. It ain't making this car no more faster. on Shady Hill, you know? So they made us cut it out.
Who drives this one?
Right.
And every car has to have an extinguisher in it, right?
Has that what?
Extinguisher, right?
So do you run any padding in your seat?
Yeah. We That's pretty good.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, that's what your wife says.
Why you're
What do you
sleeping?
do? Electronics in this car. It's all it has is battery cable, and it's got a standalone harness. So there's no other wires you have to worry about catching on fire in this thing. Like a lot of guys, they'll run a stock harness. They got all their other wires taped up. You know what I mean? It's a fire hazard. It's a short out hazard. This one here's got a harness to the fuse box, which is right here. I ain't got a screwdriver, but I was sure.
You get a fuel shut off on this one or no?
Just on the switch.
Just on the switch?
Fuel pump switch. And all the switches there are self-explanatory.
Is it this injected, I assume? Is it injected?
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't make you guys run some sort of a RPM limited switch or something where it's 824? Is that what that is? 20? Can you run the 24s?
Yes. Well, in the rules it says the motor is supposed to match the VIN number of the car. So K24s never came in RSX. So if you want to get technical, you know, that's why we just call it K20. But other people do.
Yeah.
He does.
Other people do. Oh, he's got a K24 and RSX. RSX that come away. We don't. It's stamped. Yeah, they're stamped.
I was sitting there and I looked at the sign and I was like, this Kyle,
Some of them. It has electronic.
reading all that stuff.
Not all day.
Well,
Did you see the? Right, right.
We do have to like check car off.
I ran record out of the hills for many years, and most of these cars that run in this four-banger class are just
So it wouldn't hurt to shut all of them.
somebody punched the windows out, just put a little cage in the cab, and it's all done. I don't know how many. I do have your back. Like there's like chain up
What would you like for it?
Close that thing off.
He can crawl out of it. You know what I'm saying? He can crawl to the top, and we can get him out to the top.
Rip that top panel.
Yeah, my main bag. Yeah, you can get out of it. Like this part here, yeah. But you don't want to cut the outside. Right. You really don't want to cut down. That right there, you shouldn't have to cut it. But if you have to, you do. But no, don't cut the top.
Pop the panel down
On the corner. On the corner, you can still back there. You should go right back. Well, this one you have to cut this. Make this loose, but
Yeah, cut it.
feel it right loose.
So just cut the actual line.
But it's like you said, as soon as you say, hey, we're going to cut you out, you'd be surprised how many people get out.
Yeah, yeah.
They get out and then they start limping.
Going back in, I'll be okay. Get myself out.
Hardest part about these right here, especially now, is when they're upside down trying to get them out of them. There ain't much room. But she's got a good cage. His cage is good too, though. I mean, his cage is up there, and a lot of them, their heads sticking above the cages. It does make sense.
Just remember when they're upside down and you're getting ready to undo them, they're gonna fall on their head.
Yeah.
You gotta prepare the driver.
Yeah. That's what they tried doing to me when I was upside down, grabbing my belt. I said, just hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Well, wait till the crowd. I'm like, dude, let me get my bearings straight. I just got rocked around a little bit.
It didn't help, did it?
Huh?
Didn't help waiting, did it?
No, I've been like that for ever since then. I've never got my senses back. Well, you ain't got a lot of sense anyway if you get into one of these cars. But these seats are a lot better. I mean, he puts his pad on there. He don't go. You wear the Hans too, don't you?
Yeah, I got Hans on ice.
You don't wear the arm straps though, do you?
No, I just
I know you got that. Yeah.
So your battery's behind the seat. Yep. Other guys' batteries still under the hood. And
most of the time, but if it's a nice car, they're mostly behind the seat.
If they're built right, they're back there.
Yeah.
If they're thrown together, they're up there.
If it's just a stock course, it'll be somewhere.
yeah, in the battery box.
So why you say that if it's a nice car, it's in the back?
Just because the safety reasons, if you get hit in the front, that battery explodes.
Okay.
Shorts out if you get gas line, it shorts and catches on fire.
I'm sure it's hard though.
Most people, they build them right there back there.
It's like I seen a dude, he had an actual trunk lid back here. Semi closed it off and he didn't have the battery shut down. He went in the corner, the battery from my dad flew up and his head was on the wall.
Then you just came over and you're like,
If it's a park, you gotta get it out of there. Grab the thing and get out of there. It's either me throwing sparks and letting the guy catch on fire, I'm throwing his damn battery off.
So
I'll
like
piss
the
him
other
off.
drivers, can you like get in and
You know what I
out
mean?
so we all know what?
Safety's in number one.
So we see through.
Sometimes you know, they want me to do this. I'm like, dude, I'm getting tired to do it.
And you are able to get your helmet off in the car, right?
Yes. So, goes ahead you have your 5 parts on there. Steering wheel on.
Same way, just
Yep. Release. Pops off. That comes down. The same belt design as the sprint cars. Pop the lever and they'll all come off.
it's on the right side too, like.
Yep.
This is the level one underneath the ratchet.
No.
Click.
This is
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think you said he had a ratchet.
Yeah, his got a ratchet to tighten up. He's got this.
Yeah.
And that'll make you guys run at the end belt. I had good little car though.
Been good.
Yep. It's a safe car. Most of them ain't like that. I kind of wish we would have had one up
We got one of the cars.
like the one down the road down there.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah, the Pearl Street
Probably
Blessing.
got a couple $100 bucks. Probably go buy one.
Then I could have showed him when I was talking about taking a cage and it falls out of the car.
Yeah, that's something, man.
That's the one we need.
Can we go down there? Can
This
they
is-
bring it down? We drive it down here.
Yeah. Yeah, they would. But this is there's a horrible car.
The flaps are pretty
You raced it last year?
oh yeah, well they're just basically junkyard Dodge Neons that somebody put a cage in and knocked the windows out. Yeah, that's great race. That's. I ripped the nose off of 2 of their cars.
It's got aftermarket random brake lines. So it's not stock brake lines.
Oh yeah. Nah, they just put a cage in it.
I wasn't
Went out
expecting
and had
as
fun.
much of a role play on these type of cars. I'll say that. I'm impressed.
It's got like a one-off. It's not many that's like that.
Go outside that day.
But by doing so, this added weight to your car. Right? So you had to take weight out.
The thing is, this car's really not that heavy. I think it's 2,400 pounds.
Probably, I think back when I raced, you had to weigh 22, but I don't know what it is now.
Dad, what's the weight rule on this?
2,200 pounds with the driver in the car.
Yeah, 22.
So you're
This one here is about 25.50 with him in it just because it's a little safer.
how much you said?
25.50.
That just gives it a little extra left side weight, right? when he's in it?
Hey, yeah. Uncle Gene told me, he said, never be afraid to throw a little lead at it.
Hey, you would think this thing was way over what it's supposed to be, but it's really not that heavy.
I don't see too many of them, the whole back loop. Front loop right here. See, that's all built like this one out there. Don't have to worry about it too much.
Is it a full show? All classes are in. was in the rain this morning. We have 18.
And then get the coffee.
Their car, I think it's remote.
All right, anything else on this car, guys? Raj, you have anything to add? You're the expert on that one.
That has lights on it.
Like Ron said, when you need help getting out of the car, you cut it on these posts. You may have to cut back there again and take the whole damn thing off, you know? They're gonna be mad, but they'll fix them if they wanna go racing again. You gotta do what's good for the driver, you know? You know, you can either use a tool, the best tool to use is a Sawzall. That way they can piece it right back together. If you use a cutting tool, you're gonna destroy it. And it's gonna be harder for them to put back together, but you know, if they're hurt bad, it doesn't matter. You just get them out of the car and pack it up.
Sometimes Sawzall works just as quick as the other.
And it does, and that's what I would say. The main reason why we bring our cutting tools, and I'll be honest with you, is because we've had too many drivers bitch on that we didn't have a Jaws out there. So it's mainly out for show, to be honest with you, because the Sawzall is much quicker and cleaner. So that's the, am I right? Yeah. That's the real reason why we got the Jaws out there, is only to stop the drivers from bitching. So, because the Sawzall does way more than what the Jaws would do. So.
But we ain't afraid to destroy shit either. Ain't my problem. They might be done.
You got anything to add? Hopefully you ain't gotta cut the real up, but if you do, get the cut.
Kyle.
It's old metal, right, Bud? Yeah, it's metal. You put it back together.
This is metal that's
We find something like everybody, so everybody, yeah, we're gonna do purchase one.
So Sean asked me to go over the medical part of getting them out of there, and sometimes they'll have their helmet ripped off. But if they're hurting, don't take their helmet off, especially if they're not having any trouble breathing or anything like that. Because all you're doing is you're taking that big old heavy helmet and you're moving their neck, and if they have a broken neck, you're gonna make it worse. So
And also, remember, when we go down, we are now rolling to an accident.
Right.
We don't care if this is a race car or not, it's an accident. So we treat this as an accident on 421.
Right.
So C-spine.
Yeah, so C-spine's going to be number one. Somebody's going to crawl in the car. But the thing is we're going to remove this car from that patient. So when I say that, you know, we're going to cut this car to where we can get that person out safely without moving their neck if we have to. A lot of times, like Jeremy said, we tell them they're cutting their car, they're going to crawl out. But if they're not crawling out of the car, we're going to be cutting that car. And we're going to take this car away from them. We don't touch them. So we're going to take everything around this car out until we can get them out safely without moving their neck. So, and that's the same for being on the highway. We take the car away from them. So you got to make sure, you know, the car's stable, make sure that there's no fuel leaks, you know, and then if there is an emergency situation, the car's on fire, that's the point where you just grab and get the hell out of the car. Whatever you have to do.
And any time that you even think you're going to cut a car up, get on the radio, call the county, tell them we want an ambulance en route.
Yep.
Always. Like, even if you see like, oh, that accident was bad, get on the radio, call the ambulance. Flat out. We can always single 9 them. We already have an agreement with them that we may be calling you, you may get single 9, and they're okay with it. Have them en route.
Make sure the fire is also in route.
Yes.
For extra reason.
Yeah.
And when we get done cutting, I don't care if there's nothing left other than that seat. Like, it is what it is. And it's not, and don't get in a hurry either. That's the other thing. Like, I've seen people like start pulling and tugging, like pulling feet out, like you're just making things worse. So make sure we're doing what we have to do.
And while I was talking about don't get in a hurry, we had an accident, this is probably been, probably 10, 12 years ago. Nick Allen, he got T-boned on the driver's side. It took, the helicopter landed before we got him out of the car. So that's how long it took for us to get him out. 17 years ago. Yeah, it was 17 years ago? Yeah. Yep, I remember that.
So at what point would you want us to call for
You
flight?
call, like he said, oh, call for what?
Flight, helicopter.
It's
that's
It's just
dependent
like
on
an
what's
accident.
wrong.
Yeah.
Discretion, your
It's
discretion.
fault. Yeah, remember, this is an accident.
Right.
When you run into the track, it's an accident. It's no longer a race car, it's an accident.
Right.
So you
I
treat
was
it as
just
an
wondering, like, if
accident.
we just had like a flat rate protocol, like cars upside down, call the helicopter before you even look or anything.
No, use your judgment once you get down.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's a broken femur or compound fracture.
And you got to realize too, like, right, if it's compound fracture or that, but you also got to realize that this car flipping over is different than a car on the highway flipping over because at least it does have a roll cage.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have a harness.
Right.
So, I mean, there is a couple different things you have to worry about. Because if you go see a car flip on the highway, I guarantee you're probably going to get a helicopter compared to if you have something that has a roll cage in it.
And also, I heard Buzz talk back here that there's 13-year-olds driving this thing, right?
Right.
So, and I'm glad Buzz you said this, but when you come up here, if it's a 13-year-old female, and I'm not putting females up, but even a 13-year-old period, right? They're gonna be scared, and they may be crying.
Yeah.
Like they might not be hurt, but they may be crying. So now we got to deal with the emotional. You know what I mean? So like, but I'm glad you said that.
You go deal with parents coming down
Yes.
the track.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
You gotta control your
And you're gonna and as a fireman and Buzz knows this, everybody else knows this. You're gonna have 100 other people around that car telling you what to do.
Yes.
And you gotta take control of that scene. And
Exactly.
tell them,
Remember, who's in charge? The person, the most seniority firefighter on that scene is in charge. Remember that. So that means you're in charge of whoever comes down to that track. That's your. This is yours. So you tell them get the hell out. Flat out. Flat out.
And I'm not saying don't listen to them.
Yes. Don't
I'm
listen,
just
yes.
saying, you know, that is our scene. Because Buzz comes out there and says, hey, what about this? Like, yeah, fucking listen to him.
I can tell you a certain video to go watch on YouTube, and you'll hear Sean say that.
I know how this works.
Flat out.
I tell you, somebody's smarter than me, so.
Yeah, you were there for that one. Back to the helicopter thing. It would not hurt if you call and say, hey, county, do a weather check.
Get a weather check, have them
Do
on
a weather
standby.
check. Yes, exactly. I mean, that won't hurt. And then, but just remember, you have them on standby.
Right.
So you have
You
to
gotta
come
tell
back
them.
and Tell them that you don't need them. Yes.
They're on
So,
standby
that
for a
won't
few
hurt.
hours.
But I mean, there's a lot of times you see a bad accident
And it's in
and
there.
it's nothing.
Right.
I mean, so I don't want to say don't jump the gun, but
How to wait till you get down to the car.
yeah, get down there first before.
Go to patient first. That was different too. If you see a car go through the stands, completely different, right?
Yeah.
Don't wait till you get
Yeah,
down
don't
there.
call one helicopter.
Start doing the whole shit factor and start calling everybody. Plain simple.
We're calling the variable inference and whatever's coming out.
Common sense goes a long way.
So I did kind of wonder too. So like he's got a fire extinguisher in this car.
Trevor! Get over here.
I think it's like required that the cars do have a fire extinguisher, but like he has his fire extinguisher there where he can get to it. But I've seen some people mount them down here to the cage or something like that, and there's no way in hell the driver is going to be able to get to that.
I don't know that. I think it just says they have to have fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
I bet they don't even sign the car. I bet they don't even check and see if they work.
They'd rather us use our fire
I saw
extinguishers.
one guy
than
have a
theirs.
fire extinguisher back here. It's under the dash there.
They'd rather us use ours than theirs. They got fire- they got fire-
They're not expired.
I got ours from Dollar General about.
Good deal.
With the tax.
I don't know if they did. I haven't seen it.
It just says they have to have one.
It's something they don't really check close out there. Some of them come out there zip tied in there, you can't get them out.
Right.
But they've got a fire extinguisher.
Well, yeah, I was saying like his fire extinguisher is where you
I
can
want
get
my,
to it, but
I
I've
want my
seen
insert.
some cars put it down here on the cage, or I've seen one guy put it back here, and it's like I didn't know if it was a requirement that the driver can reach it, or it just needs to be in the car.
And for everybody that holds C-spine, don't be afraid to get in the car.
Right, for sure.
But just when you do that though, cautious you're not shaking the hell out of the car, right? But don't be afraid to get in the car, lay down, and then the whole C-spine. So
It's uncomfortable as hell, but
yeah. But again, we're there for them, right? So these cars will have more room. Like that car, you'll be able to get in the back of the actual lay down like you know here.
Does this car burn alcohol as well?
Just 93.
All right.
does City Hill require you to run the A anymore for alcohol? What does any?
I remember they used to do that on the modifieds.
Yeah, I haven't seen it actually enforced anymore, but that used to be a thing. You have to pay on the sale panel.
Yeah. But it's not required no more? Or is it just not forced? Not all right, is there anything else with this?
I have a question for you. Is the aero cars like the same setup as this?
Duro probably doesn't have this much of a cage. They just have a one-way cage post most of the time.
What's your question, Sean? The
Enduro cars.
The most very minimal. Yeah. They're very minimal. They probably have stock dash, stock steering wheel.
I think even the
They won't have
seat
a-
stock, isn't it?
It might be on some of them, I think. But most of them they'll put a racing seat in.
Winfield still.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Stuff like that. Well, most of the Duro cars, they don't have a quick disconnect, so it's gonna have a steering wheel like a normal car.
You know what I mean? No squabble.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but it's gonna take a big force. No, this is, they make sure the track is really good.
Yeah. They're out there in tracks. They're just running on clay.
They said something, that's why be a smart mouth.
All right, anything else? Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
But Billy, when I got into it, all this stuff. Okay. So look to you. You're the man of the hour.
No, no.
He doesn't?
Yeah, I have one like
Thank you guys for all this stuff. We do appreciate it. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't tell you that, but we do appreciate you guys taking the time to learn these things. They're not much different. Carbureted. These aren't fuel injected. The big thing is one of these get upside down. A lot of times it'll pour gas on the carburetor. You don't have any issue till you flip it back over. Well, then all that hot gas will run on the headers and it'll flame up then. You know, so you got to watch that if you get one upside down. I've just got a standard fuel pump. Here's where gas comes in. That's a mechanical pump. A lot of guys in these modifieds, they'll have a rear mount. Their fuel pump's on the back of the block. But, you know, that's pretty much basic, same stuff. Everybody's went to these composite bodies and they will burn. They get, you know, they're not aluminum sides anymore. Driver's doors got to be aluminum, but the sides are composite on a lot of the modifieds anymore, and they will burn.
Is that for weight or?
Yeah, weight, strength. You know, it's easier to straighten out and all that stuff. Basically, same stuff in here. I mean, same seat belts as the Sprint car had. Everything, ratchet belts, quick connect steering wheel. Got a master switch here, right behind the driver's seat. All the ignition switches and everything there. I don't have a fire extinguisher. I've actually got a fire bottle on this car.
Okay.
So it senses heat. It's got a nozzle in the driver's compartment. It'll automatically kick on if it gets too hot or whatever. A lot of the cars out there, are, even like the Super Streets and all that stuff, they'll be similar to these. Bodies look different, but they'll be all along the same lines. You know, I mean, everything's pretty basic. This one's got a lithium battery in it. Most guys are on gas. Some guys do still run methanol or E85 in these, but most guys are on gas now. But there is a few that battery's way up there, right in front of the fire bottle there.
How do you get it from outside? Can you?
What's that?
How do you get to the battery from
You
outside?
can't.
You
You
can't.
got that master switch right there. I mean, other than that,
So if we would need to cut the battery, the cables, where would the cables be?
You got a
roughly
ground
cut?
cable back here anyway?
man, the way this thing's ran, up here it'd be the starter's reverse mount. Nothing's easy to get to.
Oh shit, I guess not. Okay.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's, yeah,
Is it a requirement to run master switch?
yes.
Now you don't, is it a requirement for location?
No, it's supposed to be within easy reach is all it says, you know, so most of them will be right over there.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
they're back there. Usually they're somewhere back in.
Right behind the driver.
I've seen somebody put some people running up here and stuff like that too. But
Get that master switch.
Right, yeah, because it just, he cuts it off right there.
Does your master switch go ground?
Yeah.
I think in the late model world, it's mandatory, it has to be behind the driver. The master switch. I think. The master switch is behind the driver. I think that's a mandatory thing in the late model world.
As in what they race at the low?
Just super.
Fuel cells have gotten smaller over the years. We used to all run 32-gallon cells and for tail weight, but now, I mean, this has got a 14-gallon cell in it. Most do not, but I mean, there's still guys out there that do, and it's supposed to be marked on the door. You're supposed to have an A on the door.
Okay, so then it's still,
Yeah,
that's still.
supposed to be, but it's not there most of the time. Okay. Most guys are on gas, but there's still some that are on
Why do they
alcohol.
switch to gas? Is it-
Well, you can get more power out of alcohol back in the day. You know, now it's caught up to where you can run the gas. You don't go through as much. You don't lose the tail weight like you did with the alcohol and stuff like that. That's all what it is.
And with the fuel cells, you can see it better on this, like on that open car. But there's a vent hose on all of them, smaller hose. And you're supposed to have a rollover, a tip over valve.
Valve in it.
Sometimes they'll fail. They're not foolproof. So that'll be where you get your fuel spill when the car rolls over.
This
You always look.
actually got one on the cab too. It's got a flapper valve in there that's supposed to keep it. But I mean, like you said, you fill it every week, so nobody knows if it's going to work till it's upside down. You know. Yeah, you can see the little flapper in there. If anybody wants to look at it, you can see how all it is a gravity deal. When it's upside down, it's supposed to. I just bought the car.
So this will be the area on a rollover. Like you said, the carburetor is the place you're gonna look at fuel leaks, and then back here, obviously by the fuel cell, you're gonna look around that rollover, the vent hose.
Yeah, I think
One of your leaks.
here's my vent hose right here. Just a hose that hangs down, and inside this, there's supposed to be, it's like a ball valve, a ball in a rail, and when it flips over, that ball is supposed to shut it off. It just matters. So you may still get a little trickle or whatever, but it's supposed to slow it down, you know.
But like you said, you don't know that because you don't turn it upside down and check it.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip it over in my yard. Just to see if it's working.
Is that stuff you got under your tires that you got covered up with saran wrap and flammable?
No, you're the one that sold it to him, don't you know?
He wouldn't even put Simple Green out there, Ray.
What's that sticky stuff he's got under him?
That's starter switch, so you can start it. Out hairs are running. You just, you know, that's.
I was seeing if Mr. Kyle there, where Keith was right. That's right.
All the ignition and everything, this is where they are in most cars.
How you're tracking this stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there it goes. You look at it? Look at it.
As a matter of fact, we caught this car on fire about 2 days ago. I had a bad coil wire. It just died. What the hell, Robert? Where's that smoke coming from? Coil wire. There's flames underneath the hood. They're underneath there. New to me, yeah. I didn't. But I mean, they're all pretty basic, you know. Like I said, a lot of guys will run. This is my power steering. Who's that? A lot of guys have went through power steering, fuel pump, all that stuff off the back of the engine. So I mean, that's kind of
Less damage.
that takes less horsepower. Another power thing, you know, you spin it off the crank. It drives directly off the crank back there, so it frees up horsepower instead of having that extra belt, all that shit up front. That's the main reason. Everybody's looking for something. Oh, there's guys running plastic fans, and they'll take the blades off of them.
This is not your first night with this car?
Yes, I got about 8 laps in it at practice last week, and that's it. So
8 more than you needed.
that's right. Like I said, when you flip them over, the big thing is when you stand them back up, a lot of times, because that carburetor just sit there pouring gas, and as soon as you flip it over, headers are hot, it'll flame up then on you, and that's what I've noticed.
You ever rolled one?
I have not. I've crashed them pretty hard.
Yeah. You ever get hurt?
No, I rang my bell.
So if we say we're gonna cut the top off, you're gonna jump out.
A lot of the fires on these, on these cars and those cars are valve cover leaks, or if they blow a tire steering hose or something like that, they'll blow back on the headers, and that's where some of your oil fires come from.
Your fireball will go from the front to the back? Fire extinguisher?
Yes,
I mean,
it's inside the cockpits. It's got a
but
thing.
will it go clear from the motor clear to the back? Does it
Yes,
sit up
yes.
above?
It just depends on how many nozzles you put on them. A lot of guys have got. I've only got 2 of them on this one for the engine and one for the cockpit.
So where's the sensor at then? Inside the
Inside the
That's only
cockpit.
one?
Yep, that's the only sensor. Some of them have got a manual
Yeah.
where you can pull the hit the button or pull the
Yeah.
pin and it'll spray. This one doesn't have that.
We've done it a few times, we just chucked some dirt on it.
Oh, gee.
And on the variable truck, but they didn't take the fire, they have the alcohol.
Hey, watch this.
Extinguisher for the alcohol fire.
Riker's never getting a real driver's license.
But now, I mean, if they don't run very much anymore, I don't think it's even.
But the other ones, the normal fire extinguisher will work.
Right.
But the other is just another step above.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the sprints, those all run.
Yes.
Oh, true.
So, and I think they're coming to the track twice this year.
Well, hopefully they don't end up in the pond.
These cars.
Good job, dude.
So,
That was an interesting.
I didn't realize.
Were you out there for that?
Yeah, I was working in the concession stand that day. When the sprint went over the wall in the pond.
Yeah. Who's out there, man? That was a mess. I was wondering what they said. It's hard out in the pond. Like, there was a pond back there? That was my first thought. Then the old shit factor hit. Yep, old shit factor when we saw it.
Was that when you guys didn't have water?
We had water.
No, you didn't.
You brought it to us, remember? Well, we didn't need, but we didn't need water. We didn't need water. We had plenty of water in the pond. But yes, that's when we didn't have water. But we act like we ran out of water a year ago.
Right. Well, I don't remember how old but, you know, I remember.
Yep. Well, same thing with this. You want to explain what to cut, not to cut? What I know this right here is pretty easy to.
Yeah, this, I mean, it's kind of the same point as,
A lot of people,
you know, your easiest points, you know, your shortest cuts are gonna be up here, obviously. You know, and then cut the thing, get the rough out of there. There's gonna be some bolts here and there, up through there. But just sawzall is your favorite point, or favorite tool. And then the other cars, there'll be a crossbar there. If we gotta take them out the top, most of the time you can cut that crossbar out. But if you have to get, we'll take it all off right here. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, you can. I mean, these sail panels, you whack that off, and then the roof pretty much. I mean, you got 4 bolts. You can get the roof off pretty quick. You know, if it's that big of a deal, start cutting and.
Is there anything, and I know it really doesn't matter, is there anything that we cut like that is absolutely ruins, you know,
Anything.
anything,
Yeah.
Anything to a driver.
But once you cut into the roll cage, the car's junk.
Okay. That's what I was asking. Like, so if we, I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, we have to do what we have to do, but.
Most chassis builders are not gonna repair it.
Right. Once you cut into the main, you know the integrity of it, it's done. So.
So even if you just cut like the crossbar that's optional on some of these cars.
Well,
If you take this crossbar out this way, that's savable. You know, the halo bar they call it that goes across through there. If you can cut that out.
And just lift them off the top.
If you take any of the 4-point out, you ruin the car.
I would assume it becomes liability at that point, if they try and fix it.
But there's still some of them around, I don't know.
And these cars have got intrusion plates, which is an 1/8-inch plate on the door. You know, so I mean, even if you had to cut the door out, you cut in front and behind it, and them door bars will come out. There's probably 4 or 5 door bars under there, but there is a plate in the middle that's supposed to keep from bumpers and stuff like that getting shoved into you.
That's
so.
what I don't know who was talking. That's what I was talking about with the Pierce accident. I mean, with the Allen accident, because his car didn't have that.
Right.
At the time.
They made it a rule after
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Now it's a rule, but I'm sure there's still some guys that are sliding by. You know, it's.
When we go over those cars, you'll be able to see it. And I built mine complete end to end.
Right.
Safety is my number one thing when I'm building cars.
They do have 2 options for that, right, Lois? They can do a bolt-on one too.
Yeah, they have an option of bolt-on plates too. And some people
keep that up a little bit too, but some of them are bolt on.
A lot of guys don't care about safety. All they're worried about is going fast, and that, I've never been that guy, so this is just a helmet blower here, just for getting guys out. This just slides on your helmet. So if you see somebody with one of these hooked, it'll just pull off there. Some of them are magnetic. Mine actually just slides on there. If you're trying to get somebody out, it just pulls off. You don't have to.
And you're hot, jerk it off there, boy.
Yeah.
And do you have the ratchet belt, I heard you say?
Yes, I've got the ratchet belt.
Everybody look at that. There's the over centers, and then he's got the ratchet belt. There's a couple different styles. So look that over. Recognize how to get that undone, because your driver may be unconscious.
Most times you just flip the lever, and they make it as simple, so you can get out quick. So but I know how it goes when you're in a panic too. You're not thinking whatever, but.
You mind getting in and out so everybody can see the room?
It's not as easy as it used to be, but yeah, I can do it. I don't know how some of these bigger guys do it. These things have gotten tighter and tighter. They add these full containment seats and the head and neck restraint. Then you got your race seat. You've got a lot hooked to you in there. It takes you a minute.
Is it mandatory for Honda? Is that mandatory?
For these, it is.
For those, okay.
For these and the late models, I'd imagine it's rule that you have to have the Hans.
Okay.
But usually them are just held down by your seat belt. So if you release seat belts, but you can't get your helmet off. My helmet's
it's a head and neck restraint.
I've got.
Yeah, can someone? Yeah.
I'll grab mine out of the trailer when we're done here. I got my helmet and that. That way I can show you guys how to release it. From the belts. And
yes, that'd be good.
There's still a lot of people
To have the phone thing.
In the modifieds though, that's not technically by the rules. You're supposed to have the actual head and neck restraint.
And you don't need a window net if you have the arm
restraint. Yep.
Buzz, what's the average speed on these at Shady Hill?
Last I knew, there's like 80 mile an hour on the straightaway.
Usually the seat belts will have that. Pull that, and them belts they just come undone. What about Sprint?
This might be a little fast.
Yeah, it's. Like I said, for some guys it's tight. I'm not a very big guy and getting in and out of these things. It's you guys are more than welcome to try to climb in it or whatever, but they've gotten tighter over the years.
Are the modified or the late models faster?
Yeah, I didn't hear about it.
The late models, I think, are when it was just
Right, yeah. Every Sunday.
Even with the crates at Hill, or
What they have now, the bigger motors, they're running about the same speed.
I'll go grab my helmet and neck.
Bring over here and you can see what a good one is. Like he said, some guys just out there for racing, and somebody's out there for safety. And you don't think about that safety stuff until you get rolled over going down the back stretch. You get rolled head on, and like when I rolled mine over, I was pretty sure my cage. You know how you put my cage in? That's phenomenal. My car got rolled over 3 times in its history, and the cage never buckled. Never buckled. Finally got destroyed when one guy barrel rolled it end over end like 5 times. The chassis still out there. But yeah,
On these just go on your shoulders. Your belts go over the top of it, and then you hook these to the helmet, like so. And then if you just pull that red, that's the release right there. So I mean, they're all going to be similar to that. They may be a little different or something, but they should all have the tether on it, and that's how you release it.
You don't wear yours, so they ain't got to worry about that.
I wear mine.
You got to buy a helmet that's got them made into it.
No, them just bolt on.
You add them on there?
Almost all new helmets have got the holes in the for the.
They're already pre-drilled.
Yep.
Same thing with your vent on top is
Well, I put that on because that's for the blower. That's where that plugs it. That hooks up at. Big things that keeps the dust out of there. You blow that air in there, it helps keep the dust out of your.
There ain't no dust out there. Yeah, that's.
It's dry slate. There's a lot of people that tape those to the front of their helmets, so they don't have to look for those straps too.
Right. No, yeah, no, right where they're at.
Put them all right where they're at.
Like I said, they've added more and more stuff over the years. You got your receiver to listen to the track. You've got, you know, the helmet, the full containment seat. When I started, the seat just looked like, I mean, it had no support in it, you know. It's just made them harder and harder to get out of in the name of safety. And when you want to get out quick, it makes it more of a pain. But
Did you put that on so everybody can see how?
yeah, well, I showed them. Yeah, it's
I wasn't out here, so I'm sorry.
like I said, that just goes on there like that. Your belts will be over this, and then that's hooked to your helmet, and then you just pull these tethers, and it'll release it. But if you take the seat belts off, you can leave the helmet on and get out or whatever. You know, I mean, it just.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're
same
fine.
as his, Riker?
Yep, I have the same exact one, but there is some where they buckle in the front, and the Hans
But they'll still hook to your helmet the same though.
Yeah, they same.
You know,
Some
that's-
just got the chest thing and some
Right.
just the,
It'll stay on you. It's not like that where it just slides right off.
Yeah, you may have to disconnect it, and they'll have to keep it on. You know, it won't come off like that. They'll have to keep it on, but you can get the helmet off then.
Be a buckle right on the front of the chest.
How hard is it to turn your head left and right with?
It's not bad. I mean, it limits you, but it's more the front to back. That's what it's for, you know. So it's, and you can even move quite a ways front and back. It stops at an extra that your neck shouldn't do, you know.
There's like no adjustment on them. It's just a set.
You can set it.
So you set so you get more.
Right.
For less.
And they make the different sizes. You know, there's a measurement you go through to actually get it and get it right. And you're supposed to, I don't remember what it is when I got it, but it gives you a measurement of how far you should be able to move every which way and all that stuff. So.
Anything else, Buzz? On these?
We all covered it, I think.
So when they got their helmet on and their dad crashed, you're wanting to put them on oxygen.
Do what? Go ahead.
And you're wanting to put them on oxygen, you just stick the hose up underneath the helmet because you don't really want to take it off because it's kind of secure in C-spine while it's on.
Don't put a mask on. If you had to do that, which we never have, open his shield up.
Yeah.
You can reach your thing in there pretty
You
good.
can get it in there.
Yes,
All
you
right.
get him enough in there. We've never done that. You ain't worried about their oxygen if they're that bad. You're just trying to get them out of the damn car.
Right.
Not getting oxygen to them.
Because they're getting some, but most of them don't need the oxygen. They're hurt with the oxygen. I don't think I've ever had a problem with any oxygen given them.
I've never,
The biggest thing is they get hurt and you got to get them out of there. Like they're upside down. I mean, they're going to get the bell rung. Trust me, I know. Your
There's a
bell's
lot
getting
of them
rung.
want to take that helmet off right away too, though. You should.
You don't want to take it off right away. Let them, I mean, I took mine off.
Re-ask that question so Kyle can maybe answer it. a little
Sorry.
If we need to.
So they crashed. They're pretty banged up. They got their helmet on. And, if you want to give them oxygen, just stick the hose up underneath the helmet.
If it becomes an airway issue, you take it off.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm saying. You take the helmet off if it becomes an airway issue.
becomes an
But
airway
these helmets here, I mean, you could put some up there, but I was gonna say like a football helmet, you could cut the mask off. But these are a little different. So, but the thing is,
I got some.
You did? Well,
if you're gonna take one of these
this
off,
here, but the other ones I did.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to do this one. I didn't.
Oh.
somebody hold C-spine.
Yep.
Somebody hold C-spine.
Try to just take it straight up.
And then try and take it off as easy as you can, but never let go. Who's ever holding the C-spine? Because like some of these can flex a little bit. This one doesn't. Yeah, a little bit. But like you should be able to pull. You should be able to get it off. So if you have to take it off, you have to take it off. But with that being said, like don't do it unless you absolutely have to. Because you do it, and I mean this is
it's locked.
Right, and it's all on your cervical spine.
One more thing is, like somebody flips over, first thing they want to do is, you know, you guys are the first ones on the scene. make sure they realize when they release that seatbelt, they're gonna fall on their head. I've heard of people, you know, breaking their neck or whatever. You're in a panic, you just release that seatbelt, don't put a hand up or nothing, and, you know, it's not much, but you're gonna fall straight on your head, so that you can do damage that way too, you know. And so kind of keep that in mind to keep them calm, you know, if you're.
And you can always take, like, you're not gonna be able to get a seat collar on them, but you can.
Pretty much is one.
Not really, because I mean it holds it, but once you take them seatbelts off, this becomes its own. So you could take a towel or a blanket and wrap it around and use it as a seat collar.
So if you hold C-spine while they're in that helmet, can you still actually neck enough to hold it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you'll be able to reach under the helmet up to hold it.
And the main thing is just making sure they're not
You
moving
can just
it.
hold your head. I mean, the helmet itself.
Yeah.
If you have to.
Which that's been done through the back window and everything else. Fortunately, we ain't had a lot of trouble with like cords like that. I mean, holding C-spine, yeah, but breathing.
Because
they've had broken legs and broken legs.
And if you don't think that you can get them out safely, just pulling them out. The ambulance also has the KDs in there. They're the sitting things. So I mean, they can always strap that onto them, and then you guys literally have handles and can literally just lift them right out of the car. So don't be in that big of a hurry to get them out of the car. Let the ambulance get there, and you guys work together doing it.
So that's important to make sure the ambulance is in a route if you have something that you think you're gonna need them.
Yep.
And so
depending on.
And I don't know that we have a KD on our truck.
No, we don't.
I was gonna say, but it's literally a device that.
That's something we buy. That's something we get from them.
Buy.
No way.
But anyways, it's like a short backboard, and it has straps that go around it, and you pull it tight, and then it has an actual whole C-collar mechanism in it. So
it'll just hold them still up.
Yeah, like you literally you'll take the helmet off, you put the seat collar, and then you actually strap the head to it.
You're not
and
worried
then it
about
picks them up.
picking up on that?
It's all there's leg straps, there's everything.
All right. It's basically a backboard that's only like this tall.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do it.
Yeah, my thing was, if it's only wrapped around here,
It's got like a little butt flap.
But yeah, we've
No, I
had
do have to
cases
say
too.
that might only be an EMC.
It's got a butt flap.
I think it is. It is.
It's got to be strapped so that you can take down and wrap it underneath.
That's dumb. It is dumb. Even with the backboard. Yeah. But yeah.
And James, we've actually had cases where these cars were on their lid and they weren't playing neck pain and we weren't expecting that. So sometimes it's actually easier to flip the car back upright with the person still in it because they're pretty protected.
So what's the process?
But when you
There's
do that,
always the asterisk at the end of that.
no, you have to do it very, very gently.
Oh yeah.
Without jolting it. Like, I mean,
So-
it's got to be very, very, very gentle if you're going to do something like that.
So the one time that we did have that happen, we actually rolled the car back over by hand.
Well, how are you
So-
gently supposed to set it down?
Oh, you
Well-
do. You have them on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it can be
So
done.
many people push, so many people catch and just
I-
slow it down.
Because if these
I'd be
cars
interested
are,
to see if the Hill could do it.
well,
their
we
record.
have,
parked here, I
well,
parked here.
not really with the record. We got use the record to get it on its side, and then we got like 12 guys on one side of the car to set it down because when these cars are upside down, the way the cages are designed, it's really, really difficult for them to actually climb out of the car when it's upside down.
I get it.
All right. Anything else? Last call.
Again, guys.